Hello, what's up guys, Dennis here, and today I've got a tutorial on how to build epic caves in 1.17. So, since these caves do take a little bit of time to make, I wouldn't say they are the best choice if you're just trying to upgrade some super long vanilla caves. But I would say they are definitely a very good choice if you're just trying to make an adventure map, or really any kind of build. Speaking about adventure maps, I've been considering trying out for the Wynncraft build team. I'm not sure yet, but if any of you guys want to see some sort of Wynncraft building, just tell me in the comments. Anyways, let's get started on this cave. So the first thing we're going to do is get some wool. The color doesn't matter at all, so you can use any of them. This wool isn't actually going to be part of the cave, as it's just a guideline for where we are going to build. So the cave that I'm going to build is going to be pretty short, but I'm going to make it super curvy instead of straight. One reason to add bends to your caves is because if it's too straight, it'll be a lot harder to make it look organic and not super flat. I'm also going to build my cave on a gradual incline just to keep it a little bit more interesting. It's up to you how you make your cave, but I wouldn't recommend making any bends that are too sharp or building it too steep. Once you've figured out how you want your cave to look and have built your guideline, you can decide how wide you want it. The base of mine is going to be 9 blocks wide, so 4 blocks on either side of the guideline. You can add this extra line at both ends of your cave, and depending on the length, maybe a few in between. Once you've got all that done, we can get started on the actual cave. So the blocks I'll be using for the floor of the cave are cobblestone and tuff, as these go together really well. I'm going to go to the beginning of the cave and start making the base. So the floor of the cave will be relatively flat, so to keep things interesting, I'm using these 2 blocks. The guideline is just for the floor, so you want to completely cover that up. Try and scatter in an equal amount of each block. One thing that happens a lot while doing things like this is accidentally building patterns. If you notice that you're doing it, just break a few blocks and replace them with something different. Another thing to note is that if your cave is on an angle, in the places where it goes up, it might look a little bit flat. If that happens, just add a few more blocks to make it look a little bit less straight. Once you've got your floor done, we can start on the walls. The walls are going to be a gradient, so we will start off with one of the darkest new blocks, which is cobbled deep slate. You can start by going to the side of the floor and making a small 1 block tall lip. You can bring this all the way down to the end of your cave. Once you've done that, you can thicken it up by adding a couple more layers on top and slowly pulling it away from the floor. It might look kind of hard, but I'm basically just butterfly cooking this entire time. It really doesn't matter if it's rough, as it just looks more organic than something that's super smooth and perfect. So, if you can picture the inside of a cave as something of an oval, the walls will basically slope out, and then come back in and connect with the roof. Next, going along with the gradient, we will add another layer of blocks, slightly lighter this time. This time we'll be using normal deep slate. Since it's just a tiny bit brighter than the cobbled variant, you don't want to make this next layer very thick. And just continue sloping it away from the floor. The next block in the gradient is cyan terracotta. Although the name suggests otherwise, the block is a very nice shade of grey. Since we are about halfway through the walls now, you can make this layer a lot straighter than the rest, and maybe even overhang some of the higher blocks. You can make this layer a little bit taller than the rest, and just continue placing it down without any real aim. For the second to last layer, we will be using good old normal stone. By now you should definitely not be still sloping out, rather sloping back in at a pretty steep angle. This layer can keep going as long as it takes for the two sides of the cave to almost touch. Once you've gotten it to this stage, you can add the roof. This will be made out of andesite, and all you need to do is simply connect the two sides. It's pretty dark in here now, so I'm just going to grab some night vision so you can see better. From here you could call it done, but if you want to go the extra mile, there's still some detailing that can be done. I would start by grabbing some cobblestone and stone slabs, and just smoothing out the bumps a little bit. Then you can take some stone buttons and some light gray carpet and lightly scatter them on the floor just to give it a little bit more depth. You can also grab some moss and moss carpet and just add a little bit of greenery by adding a couple little clumps of them. And one thing you might need is a light source. Using the new epic candles, you can make some posts out of spruce fences and then just place some candles on them. And then if you want to, you can take the new azalea leaves and then just make some vine-like things by just making a long line of them just going all the way to the top and then coming all the way back down. And you might still find that it's super dark in there. You could still just add some more candles, but one thing I like using is this new glow lichen. It's hardly noticeable, and it does add just a little bit of ambient light. I'm sure there's a ton of extra details that you could add, but that's about all that I'm going to mention in this video. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Have a nice day, and happy building!